Let's start off this with the beginning of late night television. To be more specific, The Tonight Show.
From New York City, the National Broadcasting Company presents Tonight, starring Steve Allen.
On September 27th, 1954, Steve Allen would become the host there. He would last 2 years. Steve Allen left after NBC asked him to do a Saturday or Sunday night variety show, which would rival the Ed Sullivan Show.
Ernie Kovacs. With Maureen Arthur, Peter Hanley, Bill Wendell, and Barbara. With Leroy Holmes and his orchestra. Produced by Ernie Kovacs. Directed by Barry Shear. And now here's the fellow always on the level, the star of our show, Ernie Kovacs.
I guess that doesn't look very professional laughing, but you see, Maureen was sitting there in a satin dress, and the coffee was spilling off the table into her lap, and every time I put more, there's a little puddle in her lap, and well, sir, if you could have looked down and saw that little puddle.
Ernie Kovacs was first considered to host the show. After
The
Alan
Tonight
Parr,
Show After Dark.
Alan Parr, as Steve Allen left. He hosted a show before it became the version of After Dark. And he really just hosted while Steve Allen was there from October 1st, 1956 to January 2nd, 1957. This was 3 days before Steve Allen had left the show. Jack Lesquili. I'm really trying to pronounce these names, but some of these are really hard. And the next one I'm just going to pronounce not his nickname. I think I can pronounce his nickname, but I'm not going to try. Anyway, Jack hosted the show from January 28th, 1957 to June 21st, 1957. He didn't really host it very long and just picked up the pieces after Steve Allen's departure. Al Collins, nickname Jazzbo, I hope I pronounced that right, came in 3 days after Jack's departure on June 24th, 1957. He began hosting the show. And I want to remind you, this was like the only late night show at the time. On July 26, 1957, he left the show after a month and 3 days. NBC then took a turn, which I don't agree with, which is where they decided to host the show where they would have The Tonight Show, but it would be put on after dark, which would refer to probably after like 12 a.m. in the morning, which would basically have a bunch of hosts deliver news that happened at night. And none of them were comedians, so it generally lost the comedy part of the show that it once had. Remind you, so far all these guys have starred in 2,000 episodes. That's what I'm told. Jack Parr. Now this is where like Steve Allen, he had some fame to him. This is all before Johnny Carson. Jack Parr took over on July 29th, 1957, and left the show on March 30th, 1962. And after his departure, various hosts took over. Which began on April 2nd, 1962, and ended on September 28th, 1962. This is where Johnny Carson finally came in on October 1st, 1962, and would host for the next 29 years. But that's a story for another day.